Good morning. How are you all? Hope you're all keeping your spirits up. Welcome to the third day of the international webinar organized by the Department of English of Gyan Prasarak Mandal's College and Research Center. We are meeting you in a virtual room and making our past and the present students to interact with you, which in turn would make you to sit and analyze whether are you going on a right path or not. We do not know what is in store for our future. Listen to the speakers and get motivated and do something worth in life. Today's two speakers are from different fields, but the content, what they are going to say is very important. Let us listen to them. I am happy to introduce the first speaker, Ms. Varsha Amonkar Patil, who was our past student and taught computer science in our college for a year. She did her BSc in computer science in our college and passed out in the year 2003. Did her Master of Computer Applications, that is MCA, from Vishveshwaraya University, Karnataka in the year 2005. She taught in our college from 2005 to 2006. She had completed e-governance, P-tax and AQUA, collaborated with cross-functional teams to manage project testing and execution, utilized remote communications technology to coordinate operations with teams in multiple locations. As a quality analyst, she has provided quality assurance support for projects focusing on developing e-governance applications for municipal cooperation of Greater Mumbai in the year 2007 and 8. Worked as a senior software engineer and member technical staff at Nest Technologies, Mumbai from 2008 to 15. Working as senior software quality analyst at NCS Pearson Inc., Iowa City, USA from 2017 till date. Proven success in developing effective software testing methodologies to validate software products. Highly proficient in using statistical analysis systems, tools for various testing activities, hands-on experience with Mongo, DB, SQL, ETL, Splunk, Qtex, Jira. Exposure to accessibility testing using tools such as JAWS, Kurzweil and Read and Write. I am so proud to introduce Ms. Varsha Amonkar Patil, who is going to speak from Iowa City, United States of America. We are sitting in Goa and going to listen to her, which is the positive side of technology, and you can listen to the lectures given by eminent personalities from all over the world. In future, the actual classroom will have less students. Our resource person is going to speak on online education, the need of the hour. Varsha, please take over.
Hello everyone, I am Varsha Amonkar Patil. I completed my Bachelor in Computer Science from Gyan Prasarak Mandal's College in 2002. I then went on to do my Masters in Computer Application at KLE College in Belgaum. After having completed my Masters, I got an opportunity to join DMC as a lecturer in the Department of Computer Science. After that, I decided to join an IT firm in Mumbai and started my career as a software quality analyst. I worked in Mumbai until 2015 and got an opportunity to move to the United States. Since then, I have been working as a senior software quality analyst with Pearson Education. Pearson Education, headquartered in London, UK, provides online learning and evaluation solutions to students and institutions in the education domain globally. Our presentation today will be structured in the following manner. First, we'll do a comparison study of online conferencing systems currently available. Second, we'll go through some do's and don'ts for a student and faculty during an online classroom. And in the end, I will briefly touch upon the impact on education due to COVID-19. Okay, so online education is not limited to higher education and college level only, but it starts right from kindergarten, where younger kids are presented with rich audio video content to encourage e-learning. Now, for the purpose of this presentation, I will be focusing only on online education for college level students. Prior to COVID-19 social distancing measures, online classes were encouraged only if the student or faculty were geographically distant. However, the current times have forced everyone to maintain social distancing, which initially, through regular classes in schools and institutions, went out of gear. To bridge this gap of social distancing, virtual online video conferencing systems proved to be a boon. Now, there are several leading video conferencing tools in the industry, and I will summarize the pros and cons of a few. Now, the following tools have been evaluated: Zoom, JoinMe, Free Conference Call, GoToMeetings, and WebEx. These tools that I just listed have been evaluated on general features, screen share capabilities, chat functionality, and ability to control a student's machine during an online conference-based class. Now here on this screen, a thumbs up indicates a desirable feature and a thumbs down indicates an undesirable feature. Each of these tools have been compared on a Windows and a Chrome operating system platform. Now Windows, because it is a most common platform, and Chrome operating system because it is a cost-effective student device. The general evaluation features include the functionality like type of software evaluated, which is like basic or limited trial or free version and a full version. Start meeting by a proctor, which is also referred to as an instructor. Then display participants to the instructor, so the instructor can see a list of all the students that are attending the online learning session. Mute, unmute microphones of the students by the instructor so that the instructor can control who gets to talk during the session. So all the 5 tools that we are evaluating allows the features that I just spoke about. Remove a participant from the meeting by an instructor. Now, if due to some reason an instructor wants to remove a student from the online learning session, then all tools except JoinMe allows the instructor to do the needful. Stop a participant's video by an instructor. So a student may accidentally share an unwanted video feed, for example, like a live game or news, which may cause disturbance to the participants of the conference. Therefore, it will be desirable for instructors to switch off such video feeds. Join an instructor's meeting using a meeting ID by a student. Now, this is a basic feature, and all the tools should allow this. Call the conference phone number in case of bad internet connection by a student. In case of poor internet connection, it is desirable that a student joins a class by dialing through a phone, and that does not require a computer. This is allowed only by free conference call and WebEx. Rejoin the online call if disconnected by a student. Now, this is again a basic feature which all the tools should allow. Several times it is required that a student shares his or her screen, particularly when a student has a question to ask. This feature has also been evaluated extensively on a desktop client as well as a browser extension. Desktop client is a thick client which gets installed on the computer. Example, you downloading any software on your machine. Now, browser extension is nothing but opening any software through a browser. Here, you are not installing or downloading anything on your machine. So screen share for both desktop client and browser extension is allowed by Zoom on Windows platform. Sometimes it may be needed that a session is recorded so that the student or faculty can revisit the online conference content. The tools have also been evaluated for record and playback. Recording is allowed only by the instructor for all the tools except Join Me. Similarly, to students asking questions in a physical classroom, online conferencing also allows students or faculty to interact with each other through the chat features. Chats within every tool can be of 4 types, some desirable and some non-desirable. Proctor to a particular student, which is an individual chat. Proctor to all the students, which is a broadcast. Say, for example, if the proctor wants to share a screen with all the students, he or she can just do it with the broadcast method. Student to proctor. And the last one is student to student, which is a non-desirable form of communication during an online classroom. These different chat types are allowed by all the tools. Okay, so now it may be required that at times an instructor or proctor needs to take control of a student's machine during an online conference call. For example, to draw something, to explain a concept to a student. I evaluated controlling students' machine by an individual for the following operating systems combination. From Windows to Chrome operating system, from Chrome operating system to Windows, from Chrome operating system to another Chrome operating system, and from Windows to another Windows. For example, if an instructor has a Windows machine and a student has a Chrome operating system, then none of these tools allows the host, which is the instructor, to take control of the student's machine. On the other hand, if the instructor and the student have a Windows machine, then Zoom, free conference call, and GoToMeeting tools can be used to give machine control to the host. All the tools will help address the need for online video conferencing, but have certain limitations. Now, in my analysis, the industry leaders from my sample of tools are Zoom, GoToMeetings, and WebEx. Join Me and free conference calls have certain limitations. Join Me does not give control to the student's machine to the instructor. Also, the user interface is cluttered, which can confuse the users. Free conference call has a very bad user experience and has too much delay in screen loads, even with a good internet speed. Also note that these tools are not only a subset of the top online conferencing tools currently available. Other tools such as Google Classroom Blue Jeans conferencing system have not been evaluated as part of this study. Now let's talk about some do's that you need to keep in mind for you to have a better online learning experience. So the first is medium to high speed stable internet connection. So ensure that you have a good internet speed at home. If the internet connection is shared by others in the family, it is recommended that they do not live stream data at the time of your conference. Then ensure you have a better device that supports latest browsers, microphone, and audio video interface. Your surrounding space will also have a positive impact on your online learning experience. Therefore, ensure that you have a dedicated, clutter-free, low noise, well-lit, and comfortable space in your home. The next is dress appropriately. Now, by this, I don't suggest you dress up formally, but just dress up the way you would dress up for college. This will cheer you up and boost your morale. Although I am working from home, I do dress up formally, particularly if I have customer video calls during the day, and it is called power dressing. Adjusting to this whole new concept of social distancing can be daunting and challenging for a few. Do not let this overwhelm you. Stay positive, engage yourself in positive activity like exercise or cooking, gardening, yoga, or meditation. As an instructor, prepare for your lecture ahead of time to make it more effective for students to grasp the content. And as a student, try to go through the course material before the conference to enable quick learning. Now, this being a technology-driven activity, some of your friends may have technical difficulties like loss of internet, loss of electricity, etc. So in such case, help each other and also help your faculty by cooperating during such unprecedented times. Now let's talk about the don'ts for online video conferencing. First, do not get distracted. Now, it is very easy to get distracted if you are working or studying from home due to other siblings or pets or television, mobile phones, etc. So do not let this interfere your learning during the online conference. Do not be casual. Now, these days, we see birthday parties and other celebrations being conducted casually through online video conferencing systems. However, remember that all participants need to maintain a decorum and cannot be casual during learning sessions. This will help you in future when you conduct presentations at corporate level. Third is, do not interrupt the speaker. The way online conferencing is conducted is totally different than a live classroom. In a live classroom, an instructor can easily give an opportunity to a participant to raise questions due to the close physical proximity. This is not the same in an online conferencing system. Please wait for you to be given the opportunity to speak or ask questions. This will prevent crosstalk and will ensure every participant has a rewarding conferencing experience. Now let's talk about the impact of education due to COVID-19. As we all know, to prevent the further increase in infections due to COVID-19, the following measures should be considered. The first one is social distancing. This is a very well-known term this year, and I don't think I need to emphasize the importance of this any further. So, do your best to maintain social distancing. Second is avoid shared items. It is not recommended that you share items such as library books and laboratory equipment during current times. As far as possible, try to use e-copies of books and seek advice from your instructors about using your laboratory in a safe manner. Third is increased sanitation. So should the need arise that you have to go to college, ensure that you conduct yourself in a manner that does not pass on any germs to others. Wear a mask all the time, and if possible, carry some sanitizer or wipes. Wipe the vulnerable spots that you may have come in contact, like doorknobs, keyboards, mouse, countertops, etc. Split class into batches. There will be days that you will be required to attend your class in person, and your instructor may split the entire class into several batches. Be prepared to be flexible, and most importantly, cooperate. Remember that your instructors are trying to make it as easy and safe as possible in the current times. And the last is online examination could be the next step. Currently, in United States, most of the schools and colleges have online examinations. An online test delivery platform is used, which enables questions to be delivered online securely and reliably in a consistent manner. Once the student is done answering the test, scores are generated automatically for multiple choice questions. And for essay type, like subjective questions, human scorers are used to evaluate the student responses. Before COVID-19, students had to go to a test center to give the test. But now, due to the social distancing measures, this testing will be done from student homes on his or her personal device, and a proctor may take remote control to determine if cheating was done, and will also be able to view the student through a live camera feed while testing. As we all have experienced in the past 3 months, with the lockdown, physical classroom education came to a grinding halt. However, this cannot be halted for a long time. Therefore, our instructors, teachers have tried their best to seek alternatives, and online video conferencing systems is one such effective solution. The current times are unprecedented, and we had never imagined experiencing such challenges in day-to-day matters. Life has to move on, and so does education. Therefore, embrace this approach positively. Finally, I would like to thank our principal, Dr. D.B. Arolkar, and the staff of DMC, particularly Shanti ma'am, for suggesting such a wonderful topic that is so relevant to the current times. Thank you all, and stay safe.
Thank you, Varsha. You have clearly put in the point that the virtual classrooms are going to do wonders, and we can sit at home and get a degree or a diploma. You have beautifully highlighted the importance of online education. Thank you. Let us move on to our next speaker, Mr. Vasudev Amonkar, my favorite student, who is soft-spoken and always with a smiling face. He is a man of integrity and principles. He is the renowned lawyer in Mafsa. He has done his BCom in our college and passed out in the year 2000. He did his LLM at Salgaonkar Law College, Miramar. Did his diploma in Media Laws, Hyderabad. PG Diploma in International Business at Symbiosis, Pune. PG Diploma in Cyber Laws, Pune. He is practicing law for the past 16 years. Presently associated as Senior Deputy General Manager, Legal with Ozone Group. I present before you Mr. Vasudev Amonkar. let us listen to the advocate of MAPSA about privacy and confidentiality related issues in digital age. Over to you, Vasu.
Hello everyone and welcome to this webinar lecture series organized by the DM's College. I am today going to speak on the topic of privacy and confidentiality related issues in the digital age. Now today all of us, practically everybody, be it young, old, in some form or the other, use gadgets which are connected to the internet, sometimes 24/7 and sometimes intermittently for doing our own work like communicating, transacting some business, or a simple matter of ordering things, or in another matter just posting something online or wishing somebody. So our lives today is by far connected to the internet 24/7. And when that happens, this gives rise to the issues of privacy and confidentiality. Now, to begin with, I'm sure all you people have some idea or some thoughts of what we mean by privacy and confidentiality. Right? Now, to begin with, today, and more so in the present times of this pandemic, where we are encouraged to maintain less and less of physical contact or minimal physical contact, the reliance on web-based learning, or like for instance this webinar, the reliance has increased, and thereby the forums on which these lectures or knowledge sharing webinars are held has also increased. And with that, there are issues related to confidentiality and privacy. Now, in India, as the situation stands today, there is no particular act pertaining to data protection or privacy or protecting the confidentiality of its citizens or we as individuals. Reliance is placed on the provisions pertained in the Indian Penal Code, which is an act of the British era formed in 1860, which does not per se contain any provisions pertaining to internet or data privacy or confidentiality. Understandably, because internet was not even born or thought of in 1860, but we still continue to use the provisions of the Indian Penal Code. And in India, the provisions of the IT Act, that is the Information Technology Act 2000, which is amended in 2008, also is made applicable. But there again, the provisions of the IT Act is primarily related to computer related offenses and not per se privacy or confidentiality related issues. Now, I would not like to bring in too much legalities or legalese, as we say, into this webinar, because that will unnecessarily make this webinar not so very interesting to the people who are not inclined towards the actual legality part of it, but I will just give an overview of that. Now, to begin with, today our lives are, as I said, dependent more on the internet and its related activities that we do, which is good, which has simplified our life to a large extent and has made transactions, knowledge sharing, learning simple and available at the click of the button. Now, let me give you an example, and what I intend to do is give you examples by which to make you understand how our reliance or over reliance on internet or the related technology and platforms on the internet can at times be counterproductive and compromise our confidentiality and privacy. Now, today, when lockdown was announced in view of the ongoing pandemic of COVID-19, we started ordering food through apps like Swiggy and Zomato. Now, just to give you an example of Swiggy or Zomato, when an order is placed, yeah, a lot many times these apps or these platforms collect information at the back end of the user name, address, okay, your location data, and most importantly, your financial data by which you have made an online payment. Now, this data is stored on the platform, and so the next time that you order, many a times your payment details or the credit card details are already stored with the company, so you only have to key in your CVV number, and that simplifies life. But if you think about it, the company has now your data of your name, address, your actual location, and also your financial data like your credit card details. And it is needless to say what the company can do when it has such valuable information at its own end. It can be misused to any extent, and we as individuals will not even realize that. Or the other important thing today is there is a big industry in India and overseas where such data pertaining to the personal information like name, address, your location, or your mobile number, this data is collated and shared or sold to different companies or individuals who then use this data for their own benefit, sometimes legal, sometimes illegal. Now, let me give you another example here. Now, for instance, like me, I'm sure many of you would also have gone through this situation. We get calls from unknown numbers selling us some loans or some offers, mostly pertaining to credit cards or insurance related schemes. Now, if you pause here to think, now from where do these individuals or companies get the mobile number from where they are calling? And you will realize that you have personally not shared any your information with these companies. So from where have they got this? For instance, this data is purchased by this company. Many a times, unknowingly or knowingly, what we do is when we go to restaurants or we go to malls or we go to movie theaters, or rather I would now say when we used to go in the pre-COVID era, unsuspectingly we were passed on a form, most of the time containing some or the other offers or some schemes, where we were asked to list out our name, address, date of birth at times, email address, phone numbers, and we unsuspectingly used to fill the form and submit it. Now this data, what happens to this data? Now this is where the catch is. Many a times this data is a valuable income generating source. This data is then sold to these companies or individuals who make then this calls of insurance or of your credit card, and start harassing or pestering us. It doesn't stop at that. There have been instances where, and I would like to give you certain examples of how a simple sharing of numbers or unsuspecting use of internet has led to the victim losing his confidential data and in turn being scammed or duped by these fraudsters. Now, there was an interesting case which has happened as early as in November or December last year in Mumbai, where a person was scammed for the amount of almost rupees 43,000 by a fraudster claiming to be the consul of the United States based in Mumbai. And this fraudster lured the victim by promising him a job in the United States and in turn took this amount to facilitate this. Now, from where did the fraudster get the details of this victim? Upon investigation, it was realized that this victim had uploaded his CV on a number of online job portals, and he was keen to get a job in the US. Now, this is where the scamsters or the fraudster saw an opportunity, found his contact number from the portal and the CV, and then communicated with him, claiming to be calling from the consulate of the US and claiming himself to be the consul of the US embassy based in Mumbai. Right? There is another example where a bank employee got cheated of an amount of rupees almost 1.5 lakhs. Now, how did this happen? And the bank employee did not even realize that. On investigation, it was found that the debit card of this bank employee was disabled, or the phone number connected with this debit card was changed by the scamsters. So this bank employee did not receive these alerts or the withdrawal SMS alerts on the phone, and did not even realize that the money was being withdrawn. Now, this happens when the scamster or the fraudulent person somehow got hold of the debit card of this victim and contacted the bank which issued this debit card and requested to change the connected phone number. And in turn, the bank obliged change the phone number. So this genuine victim did not realize the SMS alerts which were coming upon the withdrawal. And by the time she realized it upon checking her emails, it was too late and 1.5 lakhs was already withdrawn. Another example I would like to state here is of an elderly woman who was duped of almost rupees 4 lakhs. And this is an interesting example. Now, this happened when the victim incidentally had an insurance policy which she withdrew upon maturity of the policy. The policy was withdrawn and she had encashed the amount. Now this victim started getting calls from people claiming to be employees of the same insurance company and informing her that her policy is very much active and she is still supposed to receive more funds from the insurance. The victim finding an opportunity here and thinking that this could be some opportunity to make some extra money, obliged and started giving her details. Now, these fraudsters, upon gaining the trust of the victim, then started claiming or demanding processing fees or some fees of such nature to release this amount. and in turn she was duped for an amount of more than rupees 4 lakhs. Now, we may think this to be of stray incidents, but let me tell you here that from the reports available for the years from 2011 to 2015, okay, there have been massive cases of cyber crimes or data related breaches of crimes reported, and this data or computer related crimes have shot up by 5 times. And you would be surprised to know that currently India reports one cyber crime every 10 minutes. So you can imagine the magnitude of the offenses. Now, this brings us to the important question of privacy. And as I said, I would just give you an overview of the legal part of it. Now, right to privacy in India was not recognized as a fundamental right by the statute, and this has flown through the judicial interpretations over a period of time laid down by the Honorable Supreme Court. And it was as late as in the year 2017 in the case of Justice Puttaswamy and others versus the Union of India, popularly known as the Aadhaar case, in which for the first time the Supreme Court has interpreted Article 21 of the Constitution, which talks of life and personal liberty, to include right to privacy as a fundamental right. And subsequently, in the case of Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India, where Article 377, which otherwise penalized or criminalized sexual activities against the order of nature, was quashed to be ultra vires of the Constitution. And in that judgment, it was held that right to privacy and protection of sexual orientation lie at the core of the fundamental rights guaranteed by Article 14, 15 and 21 of the Constitution. So now if you see, it is only in the year 2017 onwards that right to privacy has been recognized as a fundamental right. Now let me give you some common examples of how your data can be stolen online. Now, there is a concept called phishing. It starts with P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G, phishing. Now here, what the scamsters do is send emails or links asking or tempting the victim to download or click on the links, and this then takes you to a fraudulent website or a fraudulent site which then takes control of your device, and even to the extent of key logging, which is the keystrokes on the keyboard are being captured. Now, an example of this is I would like to share here, has happened very recently and during the times of the pandemic, where our Honorable Prime Minister has made an appeal to the citizens to donate to the PM Cares Fund to help the COVID related victims, or to help the migrants, or the funds to be utilized for the pandemic related issues. Now, there was an option in the PM's Care Fund where the fund was accepting payments also through this UPI or United Payments Interface applications, and the string for the UPI was PM Cares @SBI. Now, fraudsters here made a similar string which ran as PM Care @SBI and collected lakhs and lakhs of rupees. Now, innocent people did not even realize that they were being scammed because for you and me, we have donated towards the PM Care Fund. Now, in turn, what had happened was by changing a simple or deleting a simple S from the original PM Cares string to PM Care, the fraudster was able to make a quick buck. The other example is insecure networks. Now, a lot of times when we travel or to different destinations, there is a layover at the airports or at hotels or big malls where we are offered free Wi-Fi, and we are more than happy to use this free service of Wi-Fi. Now, we have to be very careful when we use this free Wi-Fi because most of the times, or many a times, it has so happened that there have been instances where between the user, that is us using this Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi provider, that is the hotel, there is a bridge created by the scamsters, and you or the victim logs in through this bridge to the Wi-Fi network, where the fraudsters or scamsters are able to then process or get all your confidential data. Now, there is a predominant trend which is seen now is on the application Zoom, where during this pandemic again, the application was being used or is also being used for group calling, for holding virtual meetings, for holding online classes, and innocently, unsuspectingly, all of us use it without suspecting much into it. Now, what happens here, and there have been instances where fraudsters have stormed into meetings or has flashed suddenly hate speeches, pornography, and other abusive contacts in between such meetings or online classes. Now, this term is called Zoom raiding or Zoom bombing, where an uninvited or unauthorized person gains entry to this Zoom meeting or the group class which is going on and tries to disrupt it or hacks it. Now, how does this happen? Now, as we would understand that when a Zoom meeting or Zoom class is scheduled, a link is then shared publicly. It is available to maybe the students or the attendees of the meeting, which then leads, if some unscrupulous elements get hold of it, then it can be used for creating or disrupting the whole setup. Now, Zoom, when investigation was done, Zoom, the CEO of Zoom also admitted to this security flaw and has also admitted that the data or the user data was shared with companies like Facebook. So you can imagine the kind of security lapse which was there. Now, that brings me to an interesting aspect of Google and Facebook. Now, we virtually use Google for any and everything for our daily lives, for searching, used as our preferred search engine. Have you ever realized or have you noted that when you search for a particular object or an information, particularly if you're shopping or if you do some travel related searches, you tend to then start getting advertisements pertaining to the similar or related searches which you had just done. This is actually a breach again of your confidentiality and private data. But in this case, what Google does is, based on your search and your location, it already profiles your use and then sells it to the advertisers, who then bombard our web page with this targeted ads. Facebook, on the other hand, there have been instances where fake profiles have been created on Facebook by scamsters by downloading the profile pic originally created by the user. And this happens more so when our security setting is kept at public rather than for friends only. which is a stricter norm where people are able to view or access your data. And then on creating the fake profile, the fraudster then starts either harassing the victim or then starts sending, or there have been instances where messages have been sent to the contacts of the victim asking for money in the name of the victim. Now, what are the protections we can take to limit this breach of confidentiality and our privacy? First and foremost, limit the kind of personal data you share on social media. Be it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, try and limit the kind of data you share on social media. Sometimes without even realizing, especially on Facebook or Twitter, we share data pertaining to our location or pertaining to where we have checked in or who we are with. This kind of data is public and is viewed by potential scamsters and can be used to our detriment. Second, try and create strong passwords so that your social media accounts or your emails or your bank account, net banking websites or your portals are safe. Easy passwords are easily sitting ducks for hacking. Third, be careful where you click. More often than not, as I said, there are times where links are sent saying that there are offers or big companies are issuing shoes or cameras or electronic devices either at half rate or free of cost. Click the link below. Be very careful of such advertisement. These are phishing attempts. Never ever click this link if you're not sure or if you suspect any foul play. Thirdly, and most importantly, secure your mobile devices. More often than not, our now lives or our transactions are done on mobile phones, and more often than not, we least bothered to even put an antivirus on the mobile phone. This gives an easy platform for the fraudsters to access the device. So please secure your mobile phones. Now, this was just an overview and a brief of what privacy and confidentiality related issues are in our present times. So please be safe and have a judicious access to your devices and the internet. Thank you.
Thank you, Vasudev. Very informative and useful session. We have learnt a lot from his session. Both the speakers brought different perspectives about online classes and its importance and what happens in the digital world and how one should be careful with the technology. I thank both the speakers who had mesmerized the audience. I request my colleague, Mr. Subhash Kamalkar, to propose the vote of thanks.
We live in a world which is technologically oriented. Without technology, I don't think the phase which we are going through, that is the COVID-19 phase, would have been a soothing one. Today's topics were very much apt and focused on technology and its usage, the care which we need to take with regards to use of technology, and also various tools and various avenues wherein one could explore the technological opportunities. I would like to take this opportunity to thank both our speakers, Ms. Varsha Patil Amonkar and also Mr. Vasudev Amonkar, for throwing light on their respective topics. Ma'am Varsha gave us an insight into various online tools which could be used for teaching or taking a lecture or conveying a message. We thank you, ma'am. Whereas Advocate Amonkar gave us an insight into the care which we need to take when we use the online platform. On behalf of the Department of English of Jnana Prasarak Mandal's College and Research Center, I would love to thank both the speakers of the day, and also our dear principal, Dr. D.B. Arolkar, for giving us this opportunity to organize such an event. I would also like to thank the participants for being there, being with us all throughout, and hope that they will be with us on the remaining days as well. Thank you one and all. Have a great day ahead.